What's going on, everybody? Chump Change XD here. Hope you're all staying healthy and having a great day. In this video, as you guys just saw on last night's live stream, we built this CPU mining rig. It is now auto-tuning with a feature called Full Tune inside HiveOS. As you can see right there under the user config, that is inside the flight sheet. Let me show you guys real quick. We'll just edit that and then we'll go to setup miner config, and you put it in right here at the config override. So what that does is basically makes all the threads work at their best possible performance. This entirely takes about 2 hours, which is a pretty long time for me not to be able to unplug this, because if I unplug it, it has to do it all over again. So what I want to do is slap the cooler on this one right here, slap the other water cooler on this one right here, and then let's get them all back up and running so they can all do their full auto tune. So when I am ready, or when they are ready rather, we can basically just take them off this table and start mounting them on the wall. Obviously, probably not going to be done in this video because, again, it takes 2 hours to auto tune each one, and I'm just not going to have time to hang and do all that. But either way, at least I'll be able to get these up and hashing. So this cooler right here, I was watching one of Rabid Mining's videos, and obviously he's a huge inspiration of all of this nonsense on my table. I need to, or he did anyways, wipe off this thermal paste. So I'm going to take his pointer and I'm going to wipe this off, and I am going to replace it with some of that Arctic silver stuff. And yeah, we'll go from there. So let me clean this off. Let me put some CPU thermal compound on there and we'll be good to go. Alright, so the cooler's all on. I actually just put the new thermal paste on and flipped the lever to lock this in. So now I want to show you guys the two cables that actually go to the other side of this. Also, real quick, I want to mention over here there is a low and a high switch for this fan. You want to put it on high if you're going to be CPU mining. And these two little rubber caps you pull off, and that is where those two wires go. Alright, so there they are plugged in. One of those wires goes to the RGB header and the other one goes to a USB port. Pretty simple. Now this CPU is actually the Ryzen 7 5700G, so it should have onboard graphics, so I should not have to put that good old GT 710 into it. So what I want to do now is basically, let's get the power supply hooked up and we will see if this thing actually registers on my monitor. So look what I found. I actually ordered one of those ATX Pico power supplies that you can see right there running this motherboard through the VGA cable or the PCIe cable. So I think I'm going to switch gears and show you guys how to make one of these work with a PCIe cable, and then we'll get this thing up and running, because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So I have this diagram from that Shelly video I showed you guys. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link above. But as you can see, we have the neutral and the 12 volt pins right here on the PCIe. You can see the gray and the yellow. Yellow is 12 volt like it says, and the ground or neutral is gray. So this is how the adapter comes. The 24 pin has attached a PCIe, a Molex, and a SATA, and then this right here is like some weird, looks like a cable end almost. This is the end you cut off, and you adapt basically the red to the hot. As you can see, it's going to the yellow, and the black to the black. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to cut this off. We're going to end up putting two of these pins on the ends, and then we can just stick them into the ends of this and we'll have power. So let's do it. Alright, so I just ran my knife along that so I could peel it back and basically get it as close as I can to the end and then cut it. Alright, so you can see I just crimped on two of those end connectors, the little white ones. So now we have a black and a red to go into those two spots on the 6 pin. So you want to hold this cable basically face up. Alright, so this is how you want to look at the PCIe cable. Bottom left is going to be the 12 volt supply, and the top left is going to be the neutral or the ground, exactly like it shows there. So now I'm going to insert these off camera just in case I get shocked. And I'll show you guys when it's all fired up. Just before we plug those in, we are going to plug everything into the board. That way we only have these two loose ends to plug in. All right, all plugged in and she's powered up. I just turned the TV on, I plugged it into the motherboard, and I want to see if this thing actually fires up and actually displays on the screen. I'm going to be super pumped if it does. Not gonna lie, I totally don't recommend ever plugging into something while it's live, because it definitely did make a spark, but as long as you don't jump when it sparks and you continue to push it in, it should be fine, in my opinion. But please, please shut down the power supply. I only didn't because this is in the middle of auto tuning and I don't want to wait another hour for it to be done. So without further ado, let's jump this thing. Let's make it work. And she's working. Yes. Yes. Come on. Yes. Oh, that's excellent. All right, she's gonna go into the BIOS. So now I need to disconnect the mouse and keyboard and get this thing hooked up. Okay, so real quick, I just came here and changed the DDR4 memory frequency to 3600 megahertz. I changed the CPU core ratio to 38. I hope that's right. It says 38X right here, so I just put 38 instead of it being auto. That's what I've done on the other boards, so I'm assuming it's the same. Then Precision Boost Overdrive, we disabled that because that's what Matt Electron told me to do on the last board. So I'm going to assume it's the same thing. And then down here, the CPU voltage, put it on manual instead of auto and changed it to 1 volt override. And then the DRAM voltage, instead of auto, I typed in 1 and it went to 1.2. I think that's default, so we're just going to leave it at 1.2. And then one other thing, I'm not scared to say that I learned tonight or figured out how to do it tonight. I knew you could do it, I just didn't know how. It says restore AC power loss. Right now it just says power off. If you put it to power on, as soon as the power comes back on, the rig will boot up automatically and you don't need to hit the power switch. So I'm going to put that to power on and we are going to exit the BIOS because we're done. Save changes and reset. As you can see, these are all the things we did. Memory frequency, core ratio, precision boost disabled, the CPU voltage, CPU override voltage, the DRAM voltage, and the AC power loss, put it on. It just basically goes through the entire list of changes that you've just made. You need to agree to them and then it will reboot. And it should go directly into HiveOS, so let's see. There we go. So that is this rig going through the full auto tune as well. I am super pumped that these are both up and running on this single PSU, and that Pico power supply that I actually had kicking around, I am pumped it works and I finally got to use it. That thing was like $10 and totally worth it because that was super easy, and I don't know why I didn't just buy that for up there with that PSU to begin with, instead of buying these 24-pin splitters and this PCIe to CPU cable that just came in today. I don't know, but either way, guys, I know this is kind of a short video. It's getting a little late here and I still got to edit this, so I'm gonna call it a night. It's going through the full tune. These two rigs should be done by morning, and hopefully I'll be able to get to that one tomorrow, so I guess we'll see. But as always, guys, appreciate you all for watching. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.